The U.S. president has declared war on Venezuelan immigrants that the administration has linked to criminal gangs, and Donald Trump has invoked the Alien Enemies Act to do so. This despite a court order blocking the deportation. More than 200 alleged Venezuelan gang members have been deported from the U.S. to El Salvador. Trump has defended the use of an old wartime act to carry out these deportations, calling the current scenario more dangerous than a war. The U.S. president made these comments while airborne.
Sir, there's been some criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals. Murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country.
A federal judge's order had prevented the Trump administration from invoking a centuries-old wartime law to justify the deportations, but by then the flights had already departed. A video released by the El Salvadorian government shows the deportees shackled at their hands and ankles, struggling to walk as officers pushed their heads down to have them bend at the waist. The video also showed the men being transported to prison in a large convoy of buses guarded by police and military vehicles and at least one helicopter. The men were shown kneeling on the ground as their heads were shaved before they changed into the prison's all-white uniform, knee-length shorts, T-shirt, socks and rubber clogs, and placed in cells at the CECOT facility, the centerpiece of Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele's push to pacify his once violence-racked country through tough police measures and limits on basic rights. Meanwhile, the Venezuelan government has strongly condemned the use of the Trump administration's wartime declaration to deport its citizens. Venezuela has called it a dark episode in human history reminiscent of slavery and Nazi concentration camps. The gang known as Tren de Aragua originated in an infamously lawless prison in the central state of Aragua and accompanied an exodus of millions of Venezuelans, the overwhelming majority of whom are seeking better living conditions after their nation's economy came undone last decade. Well, let's talk about the latest, and we talk to our correspondent Susan Teherani, who's our correspondent in the United States of America. She's now joining us live from New York. Good to see you, Susan. ICE has been busy. We understand that they've been conducting raids as early as 5 a.m. in states like Boston.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of President Trump's campaign promises to get, first and foremost, illegal aliens in the United States who have committed a crime or who have a court order against them already and they haven't left, to get them out of the United States. And this is just part of that. Those raids continue not only in places like Boston, but also here in New York as well, where ICE has asked a lot of these hotels that were migrant shelters, turned migrant shelters, to hand over the names and identities of the people who are at their facilities to see which one of them perhaps are part of these alleged gang members, which of them have court orders that they should already be deported, and which of them perhaps have broken the law and need to leave right away. So yes, full force ICE with the leadership of Tom Homan, of course.
All right. Susan Teherani, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today, and it's good to see you.